I think it's pretty safe to say that when we examine the Star Wars Skywalker saga, a lot of fans around the world have been very critical over the very ending of Episode 9 with the whole entire Rey Skywalker situation. This is Mike Zeroh. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the one thing about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film had a lot of trouble with production. I'm sure a lot of you are very well informed about this, that this movie had a very shaky production for several different reasons, mind you. You know, a lot of it had to do, yes, with Kathleen Kennedy, and also a lot of it had to do with specific locations that they were actually trying to figure out between the first phase of reshoots and the second phase of reshoots. Now, when we look at everything moving ahead into the future of Star Wars, we do know that this new expanded universe, in case you guys have no idea about this new EU is going to be far larger than the old one that we got many years ago, before Disney bought out Lucasfilm back in 2012. So this, to me, I think is great news, the fact that they are developing a new EU, and with that being said, along with this new expanded universe, there will be major retcons coming our way for the character of Rey Skywalker and others. And a lot of fans may very well take this as a big risk, or maybe heading in the wrong direction. I, however, think it's heading in the right direction by really establishing all these different retcons that are going to really change our view of exactly how the sequel trilogy movies really are. Now, with that being said, both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek, they really have been working very hard together in order to get things right. And with that being said, what's really interesting, of course, is that with both Disney and Lucasfilm now finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are actually primarily focused on their new Star Wars trilogy of films, as well as the new Star Wars universe. Now, both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek have been working together as a team in order to create a better and brighter future for the Star Wars franchise and for the entire Star Wars community. Now, it's explained that creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are working closely with George Lucas to take part in major retcons to the Skywalker saga and how it will be treated moving forward. Now, the list of retcons are described to have a major impact on the core characters like Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, and even Rey from the sequel trilogy movies. The plan by Dave Filoni and Jon is to essentially offer something new for the fans for the character of Rey that will make them view The Rise of Skywalker in a different way. Now, one of the major retcons coming from, of course, the Rey Skywalker concept by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni is actually set to establish that a part of Ben Solo's essence became a part of Rey at the very end of The Rise of Skywalker, and that she is technically a Skywalker in spirit, as she is connected to Ben Solo during his time in the netherworld of the Force. Now, this link, or bond, if you will, is described to stay between both Rey and Ben even after Ben's death, however in a different light than what fans expect. The essence of Ben Solo that traveled into Rey is described to only be a part of Ben Solo, and that the rest of his essence, or his spirit if you will, is described to reside elsewhere in the universe, most likely the netherworld, that will be explained in the new expanded universe sometime in 2021. Now, the plan by Filoni and Favreau is to make a special connection between Rey and Ben Solo continue with this new expanded universe, and that they are looking for the best way to make Rey a more legitimate Skywalker in a different way, and that this is one of them that is actually on the table to be established very soon. Fans were against Kathleen Kennedy's approach by just calling Rey Skywalker, and that the community wanted a bigger explanation than just that. Now, that explanation is being developed by FFL, Favreau, Filoni, and Lucas. They all have a goal in mind in order to make the best EU as possible and to make it bigger than the one from the 1990s and the 2000s. This is described to be a very detailed process to get the lore done correctly so that it resonates with fans, and to also have the lore go out to all types of Star Wars fans, for those who are into the books, comics, video games, or even the movies. Kathleen Kennedy is said to have no control on a creative level over these retcons, as her creative power has been stripped away by Bob Chapek in order to make more authentic stories for the Star Wars community right now. So, to me, obviously, I think that these retcons for the character of Rey Skywalker is really going to satisfy some fans out there, but there's also going to be a handful of fans, without a doubt, that are going to be against this idea. However, I really do believe that this is a very good idea. The fact that they're trying to explain that the bond is going to actually remain intact even after Ben Solo's death. And we can see that, what they were trying to do in the original cut of Episode 9 Ben Solo is going to have more dialogue before he died. I don't know if you guys knew this, but a lot of that dialogue was actually cut by Kathleen Kennedy, and even in the novelization it was removed. We only get a little, line of dialogue by Ben Solo in the novel where I think he says something around the lines of, "I will always be with you." Something a little bit too similar to what Luke said, right? Now, the thing about Ben and Rey and this Rey Skywalker retcon, if you will, explaining exactly why she's even considered a Skywalker at heart, we can now see what they're trying to do. They're trying to establish something to do with the bond continuing between both Ben and Rey in a very specific way, just as this. So, like I've said before in the past, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.